Excited for the challenge. I think they've been playing better as of late. They have some great hitters throughout their lineup. I think they're, a well-coached team with good pitching staff. And it's funny, it's been kind of a different challenge every weekend as far as our hitters go, in what we're preparing for. So it's kind of been, how much we can adapt weekend to weekend, because every weekend's been a little bit of something different, and our buy-in to just changing the plan and executing the plan is going to be a big deal for us this weekend.
What does their staff bring that's a little bit different?
They mix speeds a lot. The velo differences between one to the other. I mean, it's a lot. And, that's what we try to do to people too. So, I think being able to see just the next pitcher that comes in and make an adjustment fast and just keep going with that from first pitch Friday to last pitch Sunday is something we haven't done on the road yet this season. So just being able to be consistent, be ourselves, and come away with a positive weekend from start to finish.
Issa was back out there this past weekend. What did you see from her?
I mean, anytime you can come in with the bases loaded in a pressure situation and really just settle into being yourself, that's the biggest thing that I saw. Is she's a competitor, and she got in there in a situation that was the perfect matchup for her, and executed. Got Kiki a ground ball, which she hung with, but that was a really, really, really big moment where she could provide some momentum, and she did.
Her innings had been limited recently. What was kind of behind that?
She's been lights out against the left-handed hitters and has struggled a little bit with the righties, with just locations and being able to give them a little bit too much white. She's been working every week at that, and has done better against some right-handed hitters. And, sometimes it's the luck of the draw as far as how teams pair against certain pitchers. And, there's certain weekends we're discussing a lot of our pitching staff, and then sometimes the next weekend they're not as much in the discussion. So it's I feel like that's probably a little bit more baseball mentality, a little bit more bullpen mentality, and at the same time we're playing to our strengths and how our pitchers are executing against very specific types of hitters.
What did you most like about just the way they took maybe the anger of Friday night and bounced that back for the rest of the weekend?
I love that they channeled it, and I also love that they built off Friday, because Friday wasn't, in my mind, it wasn't a failure. I think we didn't execute at the end, but we played a really good game throughout until that moment. So instead of just kind of starting from square one and being like, we have to change everything about this game, we didn't. We had to execute in our moment. And they executed in the big moment on Friday when they had, a bigger opportunity to score. And we had chances offensively and defensively to close the game out, and we didn't. But the way they approached it, I mean, to face Ruby Malin, one of the best in the game, and we made her throw, I think, 141 pitches day one, which is a big deal, because I think, her prior game was 80 and she was cruising, and that's more her. So to be able to kind of do that within a 3-game series, they chipped away at a good team, and I think that was the biggest story. Would we have liked the sweep? Absolutely, and at the same time we learned something from it, which is what you always want to see after a loss.
You talk about building off of Friday, but then also the challenges of going weekend to weekend facing different teams. How do you take the momentum that came from the end of Oklahoma State heading into Kansas?
Well, I think we learned about what kind of team that we are Saturday and Sunday, and I thought we got tougher, we got grittier, and now it's a choice to show up as that team every single day, no matter who we play in the other dugout, no matter what city we're playing in either, because, there's a difference between 2,000 cheering for you and 2,000 cheering against you. So just making sure that we're true to ourselves and we settle into that identity consistently. And they know that. And it's our ability to show up. I think we've done it in spurts. We've done it really well on the road, and we haven't put a full weekend together on the road. So that's really what we're looking for this weekend.
I know that coaches tend to not really pay attention to rankings and all of that stuff, but you end up winning out the series against a top 25 team, but then you guys fell in the rankings. Can you just talk about maybe your overall opinion on the ranking system in general, not necessarily your guys' ranking?
Honestly, I don't have an opinion. I think that the scores across the country are pretty crazy right now. I think the competition across the country is crazy right now, so it might have absolutely nothing to do with us at the same time, and a lot to do with other teams. So, the RPI is very important as far as that goes, and seeding goes at the end of the year, but we're worried about figuring out how to play our best softball, and really become the best team we can possibly be, and that's what we're chipping away at right now, and I thought we got better this weekend.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you guys need to do to, become the best softball team you can be?
Consistency. We just need consistency. I think we've proven that we have the tools, the emotional stability to play a great game. We have the grittiness and just the toughness to really not necessarily care who's in the other dugout. And not that we don't care, but we rise to the challenge of whoever it is. So I love that. I love that we play fearless. And now it's just a matter of, I think we responded to failure this weekend, which is what we haven't done a lot of in the past, but we did it quickly. And that felt really good to change from Friday, which is the lowest of lows that you can possibly feel at the end of the game, to the Saturday, and really just come out. And then being able to close on a Sunday against their best and against a really good team is important. So I think just maintaining that and growing off of that, because I think we can get better every weekend instead of, settling for winning a series, but we can be dominant in a series, and I think that's important next step for us.
When you talk about consistency, for Jenna and other freshmen, how do you help them get there?
It's a weekly grind, man. It's the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I know, Jenna spends time defensively with Lap every week in the office, and with Amber talking over offensive at-bats. And it's so hard as a freshman to face top 25 pitching day in and day out, and just maintain that mental stability. It's tough to go from travel ball to that. So I think there's always a moment in season where you feel like it's so much, and it's a really big mountain to climb, and at the same time you just gotta chip away at getting better, and I think she's been able to do that. I mean, she had one of her best weekends against one of the best pitching staffs in the country this weekend, and it was because she had her head screwed on and she stayed perfectly stable, didn't worry about really her at-bats until she, it started to develop what her job even was. Sometimes we worry about at-bat number 2 and we don't even know where we're at in the game at that point. So she let the game come to her very much so. She does that. I mean, for her to perform defensively as much as she has the entire year is unheard of for a freshman. So I like that it's crossing over into our offense right now.
You honored Erica Hansen-Barnes this weekend. How would you describe the impact she's had on you personally and on this program, since you've been a part of it as a coach?
Well, it's pretty hard to explain, but I think role model, first of all, and that's been even before I came here as an employee. When I came here as a player, I think she was always someone that was in the highlights of Arizona softball, right there with her awesome teammates, and part of national championship teams. And I remember being here as a player, and I'm pretty sure she had a very different role back then, but she was very much so just passionate about this place and lived the Wildcat standard and represented the A so well. And when I got this job, and she was my boss for a very long time, just women in power in this in our field is just so important, and she's someone that helps other women rise up and really meet their goals and become better at what they're doing, and also just the development that I was able to have under her is so important. And at the same time, a great friend, which is very cool, because she knows the ups and downs of this job and season, and how the lows can feel, how the highs can feel. The balance of being a mother in a demanding field is very, very important too. But I just can't say enough about her. Will always be a insane friend to me, and hopefully she doesn't move ever too far away, because Andy walked in the office and gave me some shoes from Tilly, her daughter, because she wanted to pass them on to Harper, and I know Harper's going to wear them every day because Tilly Barnes gave them to her. So we're just very close, and I just really respect the friendship as well as the the professional relationship that we have.
What's it like going on these new road trips like BYU and Kansas, first time going there? Is there a lot of advance work you guys have to do? Or?
No, I mean, it's cool, actually. And I had never been to Provo, and talk about just a beautiful setting and a beautiful backdrop to play softball. We were lucky enough to play in 70 degrees the first day, and we made it down to 50 the last day, but it was beautiful. Our hosts have been very awesome, cordial, working with us, and have never been to Kansas either. I don't think anyone on our team has, so it's fun to go explore, and Danny's doing his best work as far as getting the rundown of cities and what they look like, and taking care of us. But it's been fun, and yeah, just excited for all of the new opportunities.
Are there a lot more connections and flights these days? I mean,
Kansas, no. Salt Lake City's pretty easy to get to. Houston's pretty easy to get to. I think the tougher ones, I know Oklahoma State, we already booked our hotel for next year because they said it's hard to get a hotel. So we're learning the ins and outs, but this was actually a pretty favorable away schedule for us this year, with obviously one of them being ASU. So not too far, and we actually don't travel to Orlando until like year 3. So yeah, so we've lucked out a little bit. I think some of the places are tough to get to, but it's not any tougher than going to Oregon and taking the layover. So yeah, it's been fun. Awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
guys.
Caitlin.